How do you handle objections in your business? This is a short video of a training that I had with one of our ISAs at Elite Virtual Office, and a little bit of a peek behind the scenes at how we deal with objections and getting through different responses that a prospect might give you on the phone. All right. I have April here. April, welcome. We're going to do a little bit of practice, a little bit of role play. Just want everyone to be able to see what we're practicing and looking at. We've got a couple of different approaches that we take to our probate dialogue. So we've got kind of our straightforward, no frills approach. This just really goes straight after the real estate. So it's an opening, and inside of the opening, we ask about their intention for real estate. Now, the positive to this approach is that for that very direct person that doesn't have a lot of patience for a longer conversation, that is the prospect. So if the prospect doesn't have a lot of patience for the longer conversation, or they say, yeah, make it fast, yeah, hurry up, I'm super busy, what do you want? That kind of thing, though, this wayward queen opening is really good because it gets right to the bottom of the real estate. Now, with that said, because you have no rapport with the person, you have to kind of trust that they're not lying to you. So I find that certain people, it gives them an excuse to shut you down because you're putting real estate front and center. So the idea of the wayward queen, and all these kind of follow chess opening terms. There's open games, there's aggressive games, there's defensive games. I prefer more of a defensive soft game, so that I can, when I'm prospecting, so that I can build rapport and credibility and maybe gather some information sometimes before we've really even gotten to the real estate information. But the wayward queen goes straight after the real estate. So, hi, can I speak with April? April, this is Bruce over at XYZ Realty. Hope you're doing well. Hey, April, I don't want to take much of your time. I was calling because our team offers a real estate service for families going through probate. Do you have any involvement with the estate of John Doe? Okay. Yes, that was a family. Look, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to hear about the loss. Could I ask, was there any real estate that needed to be sold, or is your family really leaning more toward keeping that property? So right in the opening, you're shoving real estate right up front. If they don't know you, they don't like you, you're an annoyance, sometimes they don't always give you a completely honest answer to that question. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they appreciate the faster approach. So I leave it up to ISAs and agents and investors on which type of approach. So we've got a we're selling track. So if they say we're selling, this is sort of the script we follow. If they say we don't know, this is kind of the script they follow. If they say there's no real estate or we're not selling, we've got a different type of script we follow. Now, I prefer more of a nuanced approach to a conversation where we don't show our cards right up front. We do what I like to refer to as a smoke screen, where we're really hiding the real intent and service that we're going after. We're hiding it until we gain rapport and credibility with that person. And then we shift into a real estate conversation several minutes in, after we've built some rapport, hopefully a little bit of a relationship. And those really start with one of about 4 different openings. All of these are about 15 to 20-second openings. And then we dive into the service that we offer. We have conversation hooks, which are really good questions that come after our service. We deal with handling resistance, objections. And normally at this point, once we've gotten through the resistance and the objections to our initial service offer, which is not real estate, but once we've gotten some resistance out of the way, we've built some rapport, that's when we shift over to the real estate conversation. April and I are going to do a little bit of role play going through one of these openings, pitching our service. We're going to use a short version of our pitch, kind of asking a good question to open the conversation up. And then I'm going to offer some resistance. Everyone needs to know that the majority of your prospects are going to resist you up front. especially if they're going through a hard time in probate. You don't know them, have no credibility, you have no rapport with them. You're just a stranger on the phone. And so it's only normal that they would resist you. So we're going to deal with handling that objection and that resistance, and then pivoting over to the real estate after we've dealt with it. Now, with that said, you guys see this. We, for the sake of this role play and this practice, are going to start with a longer, more nuanced version. This one's a little easier for new ISAs. This one's a little harder for new ISAs and prospectors. But if you can get this down, you're going to do pretty well. Okay. So let's go ahead, April, and pick one of the openings that you want to use. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to let you pick your opening. I'm going to stop my screen share and let you go with it. After you've delivered your opening, and depending on how the opening goes, maybe your pitch, we'll pause and I'll give you a little bit of feedback. So let me stop my share and get back to our main screen. April, do you have your opening up in front of you, or do you want me to pause until you get it up?
Yeah, I already have it.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and start us off with a ring ring.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, may I speak with John?
Yeah, this is John. Who's this?
Hi, John. This is April Lace. I hope you're doing well today.
Who?
This is April Lace, sir.
Oh, okay.
All
Fine.
right. Well, look, that's good to hear. Look, I don't want to actually take much of your time. I work with Bruce Hill with EXP Realty, and I was calling because we have a service and connections for families going through probate. And I'm so sorry to hear for your loss, because I know it can be one of the toughest time. Um, are you by any chance though involved with the estate of John Doe?
Um, yeah, that was my dad.
All right. Well, do you have a minute for me to tell you why I was calling?
Honestly, I'm kind of busy. I guess I got a minute.
All right, totally get it. Do you want me to make it really fast?
Yeah, please.
All right. Well, I'm really glad I caught you, John. Actually, our company helps a lot of people going through the probate process. We can have a concierge for families going through probate process. So, I understand it's mostly overwhelming, but by any chance, is there anything we can help you with in the process?
Um, no, I'm fine. I've got an attorney handling everything. Okay, we're going to pause. So I just gave April a very, very common objection. I want everyone to realize that we haven't pushed real estate at this point. And the reason is because we still need to show them that we're capable of handling any resistance without disagreeing with them and pitting ourselves against them. And that's where we're going to go next on role play. But a little bit of feedback, April. So one of the things, you're using the Cebu opening. I would take out, we offer services and connections. So I would take out the and connections from that. It does lengthen that
Okay.
that opening just a little bit. So the opening felt like it was a little bit long and drawn out. Some people are going to lose patience if your opening is too drawn out. We really want to keep that down to about 15 seconds or so once you really start delivering the opening. So I'd say shorten that kind of opening statement of value by just a few words. Is even a few words is going to help. You use the word process with probate a handful of times in your script, in your USP. So once we get through the opening is really ends where we ask if they have a second for us to tell them what we're calling for. That's where the opening ends. Everything that comes after that is really your USP. It's your pitch. And so you got into your pitch and you said probate process a couple of times. And I noticed that when you're speaking fast, probate process kind of runs together and is a little bit hard And also concierge service ran together a little bit, was a little bit hard to for me to understand. I know what you're trying to deliver. If I didn't know what you were trying to deliver, I might not have known what you were saying. So on probate process, only use probate process once instead of twice. And then in your concierge, we act like a concierge. I want you to space that language out a little bit, maybe slow down just a little bit on that part of the process, so that you're clearly enunciating your offer. Okay, makes sense.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Now I'm going to hit you with the same objection again. I want to go through the role play again, start to finish. Maybe not start all the way to finish, but opening and pitch, and then your question. And I'm going to hit you with the same objection. So no, I have an attorney taking care of everything. All right. So we'll go ahead and start over again. Start the call just like you did last time.
Hold on, give me a second.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, may I speak with John?
Yeah, this is John.
Hey, John, this is April Lace. I hope you're doing well today.
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Actually, I don't want to to take much of your time, but I work with Bruce Hill with eXp Realty, and I was calling because we have a service for families going through probate, and I'm so sorry to hear of your loss. I know it can be one of the toughest times. Are you by any chance involved with the estate of John Doe?
Uh, yeah, that was my dad. I'm not handling it alone. I've got a good attorney that I'm working with.
Oh, it sounds like you have a really good attorney and you weren't looking for any help today.
Okay, we'll pause. I put it in up front just because we had not role played that, and I wanted to see your variation, if there was a variation. So I didn't actually give you an objection. So because I didn't give you an objection, we don't want to completely we don't want to completely say, hey, you weren't looking for help today. So I said, yeah, I'm handling that, but not alone. I'm handling that with my attorney. So in a case like that, I would have actually not done the full reframe. So the full reframe, when they say I have an attorney that's taking care of everything, is, hey, it sounds like you've got a great attorney, or it sounds like you have a great attorney on your side. You probably weren't looking for a lot of extra help today. Okay, so that's the reframe that we would get to if it's a real objection. That wasn't a real objection though. I just said that, hey, I'm not doing it alone. So in that case, you validate. Oh, perfect. It sounds like you've got a great attorney on your side. Hey, do you have a quick second for me to
Okay.
kind of share what I was calling about? All right. So you go right back to the conversation gate that leads into your USP. All right. So let's do it one more time. Start at the beginning.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, may I speak with John?
Yeah, this is John.
Hey, John, this is April Lace. I hope you're doing well today.
Who?
My name is April Lace.
Oh, okay. April. Okay. Fine.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. Look, I don't want to take much of your time, John. I work with Bruce Hill with eXp Realty, and I was calling because we have a service for families going through probate. And I am so sorry to hear of your loss. I know it can be one of the toughest times. Are you by any chance involved with the estate of John Doe?
Yeah, that was my my dad.
All right. Well, do you have a minute for me to tell you why I was calling?
Um, yeah, sure.
All right, perfect. Well, I'm really glad I caught you, John. Our company helps a lot of people going through the probate process, and we kind of have a concierge for families going through probate. Now, I totally understand it's mostly overwhelming, but by any chance, is there anything we can help you within the process?
No, I don't need anything. Our attorney's taken care of pretty much everything for us.
Oh, it looks like you have a really great attorney, and looks like you're also not looking for any extra help today. I completely understand. But if something changes in the future, um, let's keep in touch. Let me give you my number. Do you have a pen handy with you?
Um, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, my phone number is 565-355-5757. You got it? Or do you want me to repeat it again?
No, I got it.
All right, perfect. I really appreciate your time today, John. Oh, but before I let you go, can I ask, um, is anyone living in the house right now, or is there someone maintaining the property?
Um, no, just me. I'm taking care of really everything over at the house right now, but it's not really a problem for me.
All right. Well, were you thinking about holding on to the property long term, or is the real estate something you're leaning towards selling?
Um, uh, if I'm being honest, we really haven't discussed it yet. Um, so I I, I don't I don't know at this point.
Okay. All right. So, like, let's say in the next 6 months or so, when everything is already good to go, are you thinking about, are you going to sell it, or
Okay, all right,
would you?
freeze. Okay, everything up to that point was honestly pretty awesome. I was playing the role of a pretty nice guy. I wasn't hitting you with a whole lot of anything, but I was very uncertain, and that's what you're going to deal with a lot. Not everyone on these calls are a jerk. There are a lot of people that just don't know what they've got going on. They're early in the process. They might need help, but if they do, they don't know what that help is, and so they're very uncertain and going to be indifferent toward you. So I was kind of indifferent toward you. Now, I told you that I didn't know what I was going to do with real estate. So I find that when we don't know what we're going to do with real estate, what we need to do is uh, generally we're going to kind of reframe them again. So it sounds like blank. Okay.
Mhm.
And in a case like that, hey, it would be a, hey, I completely get it. It sounds like you need to talk with the rest of your family about that. It sounds like you have several other people involved in that decision. It sounds like you guys haven't decided yet. Okay, so that would be sort of the reframe for when someone says that they don't know, which, by the way, is not an objection. It's an answer. It might be an objection. We don't know. It's an answer. Okay, and then I would have probably said, oh yeah, and I got to talk to my brothers before we really decide what we're gonna do. Yeah, we're just not sure. I might have said something like that. Then you can go back and ask the question again. So what you did was right. You just missed a step. Um, so we want to ask that question twice. When someone says that they don't know, we want to find a way to ask again, but it comes after we've reframed them and gotten their agreement. Now,
Mhm.
when it comes to the reframing of any answer or objection that they've given you, okay, you need to give a little bit of a pause. It's just like we do when we say, I hope you're doing well today in the very beginning of the call. We don't want to say, I hope you're doing well today, and then sit there for 5 seconds waiting on their response. But we want to give like a short little gap, just enough time for them to answer if they're going to, but not enough time for it to get super awkward. Okay, so when you've reframed someone, you're giving a small pause, just long enough for them to agree with you. Because that's the whole purpose behind a reframe, is it's so that they can agree with your statement. I don't know if you've ever heard this or not, but there's a communication trick that people teach couples all the time, and it's just called active listening. And active listening is the art of just repeating back what someone has said. So that's all a reframe really is. It's repeating back what someone said in your own words, and preferably your own words are going to be um, something that is more beneficial to you than their original statement. So, example would be, "I don't need help." And then you reframe that by saying, "It sounds like you're not looking for help today." That's something they can agree with, but there's a big difference between needing help and looking for help. And then you add that little word on at the end, "today," and you've kind of indicated subconsciously to them that maybe they'll look for help tomorrow. Okay, so that's just a way that sometimes you can active listen and repeat back what someone has said in a way that's slightly more beneficial to you. You don't want to make it obvious. You just want to you want to make it subtle where they don't um, um, really pick up on what you're doing. So with you, give a little pause after the reframe. So don't know what we're doing. Okay, yeah, I completely understand. It sounds like you and your family members really just haven't decided yet. Yeah, I got to talk to my brothers before we decide. Now, all of a sudden, because you gave a little bit of gap, I have a chance to add some comments to your assumption, to your reframe. You want to give a small opportunity for them to add comments, because otherwise you don't know what our situation is, and that little pause, if I speak and I share our situation, will give you very, very valuable details and information for later in the call. Very valuable. Okay. So a little bit of a pause after your reframes, just long enough for them to either agree with you, correct you, or add um, kind of background to their situation, and then you can move. Then you can move on. Okay. Now, what you did when I said I don't know is you just asked the question again. All right.
Another binary question.
Yeah, you need a
Because
little
I
bit
was
of space, a little bit of space in between the first answer that they gave and you asking again. So the way that I would do that is it sounds like you and your family just really haven't gotten a chance to talk about that yet. Yeah, that's right. I gotta talk with my brothers. We're just not quite ready to deal with that yet. Okay, I completely understand. Look, I know you guys haven't decided and probably won't decide here for a little bit. If you had your preference, though, do you think that you'd lean toward holding on to the house, or do you think you'd kind of prefer to maybe sell the house? So now we go back to the original question and we narrow it down on what the person you're talking to wants, but only after a little bit of space. Only after a little bit of space. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the top and do it one more time. And then we're going to take a break while you review some of the details that we've talked about. Maybe listen to the recording, and then after the break, we'll come back for a little bit more role play. So let's start at the very top again and work down, probably pretty close to where we got this last time.
okay. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, may I speak with John?
Yes, John.
Hey, John. This is April Lace. I hope you're doing well today.
Yeah, I'm fine. April, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Look, I don't want to take much of your time. I work with Bruce Hill with eXp Realty, and I was calling because we have a service for families going through probate. And John, I'm so sorry to hear of your loss because I know it can be one of the toughest times. Are you by any chance involved with the estate of John Doe?
Yeah, I'm the administrator.
All right. Well, do you have a chance or do you have a minute for me to tell you why I was calling?
I tell you what, I'm kind of busy. If you could just sort of make it quick, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, sure, sure. Actually, I'm really glad I caught you. Our company helps a lot of people going through the probate process. We kind of have a concierge for families going through probate, John. And I understand it's mostly overwhelming, but by any chance, is there anything we can help you with in the process?
No, I got everything covered really, really good so far. Appreciate it though.
Oh, it sounds like you weren't looking for any extra help today. I completely understand. But if
Yeah.
something changes in the future, let's keep in touch. Let me give you my number. Do you have a pen with you?
Um, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's 565-355-5755. You got it? Or do you want me to repeat it for you?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, I really appreciate your time today, John. Oh, but before I let you go, can I ask you something?
Um, me, yeah.
Let's say you get probate behind you. Were you thinking about holding on to the property long term? Or are you, are you going to actually sell it?
The house.
Yep.
Uh, I'm probably gonna sell. I'm not 100% sure we're ready to make that decision yet. But probably gonna sell several months down the road, maybe once probate's over.
I see. I see. It looks like you have a lot to consider within your family. But let's say if we present you with an offer down the road, would you be open for it?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right, perfect. Well, yeah, I
Okay,
don't know what's
pause.
next now.
Okay. All right. We gotta do a little bit more
Video
training
appointment.
on that sort of ending once you've identified that someone is open to an offer. A little bit more training on kind of the closing technique there, but good job. Um, I'm gonna go back and say on your reframes, just always remember, leave enough of a pause. You're still
Okay.
leaving that pause a little bit short, and it's not giving the person an opportunity to talk. One of the things that I find is people will be resistant, really short with their answers, and then all of a sudden, you never know where. Sometimes it never happens, but sometimes that person that's been resistant will go, yeah, you know what? I've got my brother that he thinks he's going to move in, and he's already started moving stuff in, and I don't know what to do with him because I told him he can't have the house. And all of a sudden, they're just going to start talking. So they'll go from really short, like one word answers to just giving you a whole 5 minute dialogue on their situation because you've left an opportunity for them to speak. So anytime you're doing that reframe or you're kind of telling someone it looks like this or it sounds like that, pause. Just give it a little bit more of a pause. It doesn't need to be forever, but it should be a couple of beats. Couple like, hey, it sounds like you and your family kind of have a lot to consider. If anything changes, okay, I just gave that probably 2 second little gap. And that's long enough for a lot of people to start talking. I've gotten to the point where I'm frequently comfortable. Well, I'm uncomfortable with it, but I'm practiced at giving like a 3 or a 4 second gap because most people don't have any idea what to do with silence on the phone, and they will start talking to you because they're just uncomfortable with the silence. So I want you to try to give at least a 2 second gap after you've made sort of an assumptive statement or a reframe statement to someone. All right. And see if they fill that space with information. And if they don't, then you can pick up with the rest of your conversation approach. All right.
Okay.
All in all, great job.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. See ya. Bye.